All right, OG, back again, round two.
Oh, yeah.
First, I really got to say how much I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me and really being a true friend to me. I've really valued our friendship, since we reconnected, and it really helps, honestly, being able to have someone to chat with and to talk to about some of these things. And obviously the subject matter is not the easiest to discuss, and coming from the life we come from and not talking about anything, it's not always easy to kind of go through those things in your life. So I really want to, extend how much I appreciate you doing that. And this interview was actually supposed to take place.
Take two.
Yeah. We were supposed to release this one about 2 weeks ago, but my dumbass, while editing,
Shit
slipped
happens.
and broke that bitch in half. So I'm really grateful that you being so gracious to sit down with me again and to do this. I know it kind of gets redundant sometimes, but you really talked me off a ledge, dog, so I appreciate that, bro.
I feel you, my brother. And no, dog, it's absolutely cool. I understand, man. And back at you, ditto with everything. Since we've reconnected, it's brought like a new piece to my life. I can't explain it, man. Just having somebody around from childhood that actually knows some of what I went through. We went through a lot of it together, and so it just, and that we made it out and have reconnected, it definitely means a lot to me. And you being here and giving me this opportunity to share my story and let other people hear it, and
yeah, man, absolutely.
Maybe take from it.
Like I was saying when I first did this, you were one of the first names that came to mind when I wanted to do this concept. Was just we lived together, we lived through some tough times together, living in the dope house and moving a lot of shit. And
for real trap house. Like y'all hear about trap house. This was trap to the max.
Really, like you said, it's kind of an isolating feeling when you've been through some of the things that we've been through, and it is healing to be able to speak about it with each other, because I feel like that's really what's helped me kind of navigate my way through this whole thing. And I have to say, when I broke that SIM card in half and certain things in Washington really just weren't going my way, I wasn't getting what I wanted out of my trip, it kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit, and you were right there to encourage me and to make me feel like everything's cool. We'll just keep plugging forward. It's really just an excuse for us to get together again and be able to hang out. And it kind of changed the way I was looking at things, and it's things like that that really honestly help me in my life.
Good, dog. I'm glad I was able to. So much other bigger shit we got to worry about, and it's like we can do it again.
Absolutely.
Like that's another reason for us to kick it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Fuck it. Don't let it fuck you up. It's all good. We gonna get through it.
Yeah. I wanted to get that out there and let everyone know that we were supposed to put this out about 2 weeks ago, but it's because of my negligence that happened. So we get to do it again, and that's just.
I would just chalk it to shit happens.
That's right.
Ain't nothing negligent about it, man. Life happens.
Yep. People really seem to get a lot out of that first interview. I've gotten countless messages of people talking about how that's helped them in their own life, their own sobriety, and just motivation to keep going and understand that there's other people out there that are sharing their hardships in life. And I think it makes it easier for them to do the same, whether it be family, their significant other, or whatever it may be, their kids.
Well, so that is a huge point to a lot of this, is trying to get people used to people like us. People, so not so much me as they would you, because I wear what I am on my face. I believe that when you've been clean for quite a while, you've got your shit together, you drive nice vehicles, you're a business owner, people get a false image of you, of what you are, and nobody wants to give you time or get to know you. And so getting to do this and get your stories out there,
right?
It allows people to get to know the real you. You're not this stuff. You go so much deeper than any of that.
Right.
And if people want to judge you and treat you differently, because of your past, it's called the past for a reason.
Right.
And there's nothing we can do about it but grow and learn. And we're trying our best.
And
But
speak on it too.
and speak on it.
For me, a big part of this has just been speaking on these issues and these things that I went through, because so many people just keep it in for exactly that reason, is they don't want to be
There's a
looked at a
stigma.
different way, or you did this and you did that.
You're this type of person.
Yes, sure, I did those things, but you also have to look at where I am today. So all of those things I did, I climbed like hell to get away from and to get out of. So you have to see it in the full picture. Is yes, I used to rob people at gunpoint. Yes, I used to sell heroin and coke, and yes, I used to, all of these things. I was that. I did that. But I also worked to get away from that, to separate myself from that life and those people and that environment, and really push to become the man I am today. But when people see the man I am today, like you were saying, is they may not see the struggle that I went through to get to where
here.
I am. So
because
there's
for
not
so
that
many
background
people,
understanding.
so many people just expect this out of everybody. This is just everybody grows up to be a successful business owner and blah 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 blah. Like we open up, we try to give wisdom and spread our knowledge that we've picked up,
Right.
and then we get judged for it. Now all of a
Which
sudden,
is a giant deterrent for people. Giant deterrent for me in the beginning.
Yep.
And it's a lot of things that you don't ever want to face as you build this image that you want in the beginning of being a gangster, being someone who doesn't take shit from anyone. But then you have to work like hell to undo that and really get people to see who you actually are, with that hidden fact of this is who I was, because that also can't be taken away from either. Because who I was makes who I am today. It shows the reason why I react the way I do, why I get uncomfortable around big crowds of people, why I have to carry a gun just to go to get the mail or take a shower. Anything, like all of those little pieces, though I'm changed and I've moved on, they still exist inside of me. So speaking on them helps other people address that, yes, that exists inside of me, but I can still manage to live my life and hopefully live my life without judgment, and it be okay with society that I did these things, I went through these things, but this is where I'm at now.
we had to build a facade about us so we can be accepted, because people won't accept us for who we really are.
Right.
They won't. So we have to put on this mask like have always been just the best, most upstanding men, and it's hard. It's hard to wear a mask, especially when you're not the type of person that does that.
Yeah, exactly.
And people don't understand what that takes out of us to have to put on that front. And I mean, it's just not genuine. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels.
That's a good way to put it. It's just not genuine. It's fighting against every essence of your being, when you're doing that. I think what we're doing is really important. Based on what I've seen of part one of your story that we've put out, and the response that I've gotten, messages I've gotten from drug counselors and, different people, I really think it's beneficial, and that it's important that we keep going, we keep pushing forward. So on that tip, I think we left off where your dad had just gotten a job trucking, and he was trying to get you out of the valley because he was kind of seeing the writing on the wall that you were getting into mischief again, and doing some of the things that you were doing when you were with your mom. So he was trying to nip that in the butt.
Yeah, so he brought me into the truck, that's right. And I mean, had I had half a brain, I would have stayed in the truck. But, I had experienced the life of a just no fucks given mom.
Right.
So I got to live like an adult with her. And so one day in the truck, she had reached out finally. She had gotten out of prison. She reached out, and my dad was inside this Walmart shopping, grocery shopping, and I answered the cell phone. And again, she fed me the big bullshit story of I'm doing so good. We are living in Massachusetts. I've got a new husband. You've got a new little brother and sister, his son and daughter. Your big sister's out here. Life's beautiful, puppies and rainbows.
Right.
And so I literally right then and there grabbed my backpack, put all my clothes in it, ran, jumped out the truck, and hitchhiked. That was in Chicago. And I ended up hitchhiking from Chicago to East Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
Wow.
And
At what age?
I think I was 12, 12 years old. 12 or 13.
How did you manage to hitchhike?
So I usually would go to Greyhound stations
Okay.
and just sit and wait, and somebody would always buy me a ticket. And I was super manipulative. My mom had taught me to be really manipulative. And so I could get people to buy me tickets pretty much anywhere. This time though, I had ended up getting a ride with some family.
Okay.
And
So it felt semi-safe. instead of
yeah,
getting some
yeah. I mean, every
shady
time I
trucker or
got in,
something.
every time I ever got in anybody's car, I always imagined a movie. It was just, it was gonna go like a movie. It was always a huge risk. I don't know, but God willing, I survived. So I ended up getting to East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and my mom had met this new man, Troy, and he was fucking awesome. He had his son and daughter. They were quite a bit younger. They weren't little. I think they were like, Nick was maybe 8 and Sammy was like 6.
Okay.
Sammy was a girl. Anyways, so I get there, we move to this house, and then I start school. And I was finishing 7th grade there, my second time doing 7th grade.
Okay.
I went to go and finish it.
So I must have met you at your first round then.
Yeah, I had got there, I was finishing 7th grade. Kids there did not like me. I was different. I didn't talk like them.
Was it pretty rural where you were?
Yeah, it was very
Country?
up class. It was middle class. It was middle
Okay.
class. To me, it was rich. It was rich as shit, but it was. Anyways, last day of school, these kids tried to jump me, and I'm fighting and I fight. The first one, he's coming at me, and I just hit him one good one, bink, and but when I hit him, he turned his head, and I hit him like boom in the skull, and
Oof.
it broke my finger. And
Boxer's fracture.
I was at that point, like, he dropped. Luckily, he was done. His homies seen him drop. They didn't want none. I was done anyways. If anybody wanted to keep fighting, I wouldn't have done it anyhow. And I just grabbed my hand. I took off running home. My mom was an EMT when I was young, and so all I could think was I wanted to get home to my mom so she could help me
Yeah.
figure out my hand, because it was immediately blowing up. Yeah, I fractured a boxer break. Exactly, boxer break.
Yep.
And
I got one of them right now.
yeah, and so I get home and the house was empty. My mom and Troy had taken the little brother and sister to their moms, and then my big sister, she was
Okay.
a rider anyways, so they gave her some money. She bounced, and then they just bounced and just left me.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's the part that we didn't talk about last time. Good. I'm glad we were able to get that, because I was wondering about that, like what happened to your brothers and sisters and where everyone went. Okay.
They took them all because it was the last. I
And then
guess they
didn't
were
let
out of
you
school.
know?
They were off on benders. They had just started doing benzos and drinking again, apparently.
Okay.
And I had only been living there for like maybe a month. And so I feel like they took the benzos and just completely blacked out and forgot that I even was there.
Holy shit, dude.
And I was living in the basement away from the whole family.
Sadly,
like,
I believe it.
and
Benzos will do that to
That's
you.
my belief. I believe that they took benzos and they completely forgot that I was even there.
It's almost like when people forget their kids in the back of the car. They go to work back and forth, and then they go to the store one time.
And they forget.
And they forget, yeah.
So I sat there for a month, and after about a month, my grandparents showed up, my mom's parents, and they, you know, where is everybody? Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
I came home from school, they were gone.
Because even if CPS gets contacted, like your dad contacts them or something, they're not even going to know where you are.
No, they
They'll
had
have no
my
clue where
dad
you
had
are.
no clue where I was. For all he knew, I was dead. So I go to my grandparents. A few months goes by.
And where do they live?
They live in Massachusetts in a town called Webster. Webster, at this time, they were living in Webster, Mass. And
Okay, so they were semi-close to you. That's why they rolled up to check to see,
yeah,
check on you guys.
yeah. So they take me to their house, and then I had never gotten myself off of Seattle time. I had stayed on Seattle time, which is 3 hours behind. So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, to me, it's midnight.
Yeah.
And so I always stayed up really late. And one night I'm sitting there in my bedroom watching TV, and the phone rings. What the heck? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I answer it. It's my mom. She's like, "Boo boo, we're in Twin Falls, Idaho. Come live with us. It's puppies and rainbows." And so I pack my shit right there, and I get up and I go out the window, and I end up getting down to downtown Worcester, and getting on a Greyhound, and then taking the Greyhound across the country to Twin Falls, Idaho.
So that kind of also shows the type of relationship that you and your mom had is you were so connected to one another that you were willing to just look past them leaving you at the last spot because she really truly let you live however you wanted to live and do whatever you wanted to do. Is
Well,
that
and
kind of
it was a huge part of it was that, damn sure, absolutely. But like another big part of it was like she raised me to, she always called me her knight in shining. She raised me to be her protector, and I never realized that ain't my job,
yeah.
you know. And so
That's a weight. That's a big weight for a young man.
yeah, and so there was like no wrong she could do. How she raised me, there
Right.
was just,
Right.
it didn't matter what she did. She was my mom. I was a mama's boy.
Right.
And there was just no wrong she could do. Not enough. I mean, from guns to my head to needles in my arm, it just wasn't enough to make me not want to be with her.
Right.
I loved my mom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's your mom.
well, and she seemed so helpless, but she was so ruthless, and it was just like, I don't know. It was just a fucking facade, though.
Yeah.
Like, my mom was savage. She was manipulative as fuck. And I don't think it was really any of the shit that she raised me to believe. But
So it seems like after a significant amount of time has gone by, you look back on your mom, and it's almost like you've, because of the life that you lived and the things that you lived through after, it helps you understand, again, kind of what we're discussing. It gives backstory and context to why your mom was the way she was,
yeah,
and helps you understand in those situations when you're just a kid and you don't know why she's doing the things she's doing. Now you can kind of put those into place,
yeah.
being a grown man now and
And
living
going
the life,
through it,
yeah, and going
yeah.
through it. You can, not that it's right,
But
not that it justifies anything she did, but it does help you understand that, like you said, like, I think they took benzos and just forgot about us. I think honestly what it was, and having gone through that yourself, it's, you
yeah.
kind of understand that
Well,
aspect.
exactly. Like, but that's kind of the thing, though, is that, like, I have never, my children have always just been of the utmost priority to me. In teaching my boys to see manipulation, I'd rather them be able to see people who are trying to manipulate them and shut it down.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. I guess I do. People are just fucking twisted. And my mom was no different than anybody else. And, you know, people are capable of horrific shit.
Right.
And that's
When
just
put in the right circumstances,
yeah,
people are capable of absolutely
anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
And they can do it to their kids. They can allow it to their kids just like they can allow it to anybody else. But that was always something I always told myself was I wouldn't allow my kids to go through that. So my first son, I wasn't able to protect like that, but like my boys, I am raising my boys right
Yeah.
to the best of my ability. I mean,
Right.
there are times I wish I could do more. I wish I could do better. And then I try to do better every day. I want my kids to be nothing like me.
Well, that's the marker of a good parent, a parent who recognizes when they are doing a bad job in certain aspects and they work to improve it. That's people who are bad parents don't do that. You know what I mean? They don't try to improve. They may lie and say they are,
But they're not.
but they're never actually trying. So, okay, so your grandparents find you guys, they come pick you up.
So they come pick me up. I live at their house for a second. My mom calls me, sells me a dream. I
You go
I
you go
hitchhike
out
my
to
way
Idaho.
across to southern Idaho. I get to southern Idaho. Shit's about to start getting wicked again. And I get there and everything is copacetic at first. Everything's kind of beautiful. They got a cool little house and they had our dog brought out from Massachusetts, Muggsy, our boxer. They were both sober. But right when I got there, it didn't seem so good because what had ended up, I start hearing the real story of what had happened about why I got left.
Right.
I never heard exactly why I got left. So what had happened is they started doing benzos and drinking. They went on a bender. My stepdad Troy, he was a car salesman. So they went to his car lot. They stole a brand new Ford Explorer off the lot and proceeded to start bendering their way across the country, just with no particular destination. It's about the journey, brother.
Right.
You know, type shit. And in Indiana, they end up getting into a little bit of a squabble. He takes her purse, throws it on the roof of a gas station. She climbs the power pole and jumps onto the roof of the gas station. Attendants call the police. They get arrested, get put into treatment. They were in treatment in jail. That's why I was at my grandparents for a few months. And then they got out. Then the Explorer was still waiting when they got out. They go and get in their stolen Ford Explorer and proceed to keep driving. They end up getting to Twin Falls, Idaho, where my stepdad gets a good job, but not before he goes and lights the Ford Explorer on fire and pushes it off the edge of the Snake River Canyon.
Smart
And
move.
right,
They'll
you
never
gotta
figure it out.
they'll never find it. So yeah, they find him, book him. When I get there, he's in jail. He was only in for like 6 months.
Oh, okay. So you got here and he was already locked up.
Yeah, he was
So
booked.
yeah, it's not looking good.
But like on the 6th with good time, he ended up getting out in like 3.5 or 4.
Right.
So after I had got there, it was only a couple or a few months till he got out. So he gets out, his job lets him come back. He was working at this awesome place called Latham Motors. It's the biggest Viper dealership in America. He did real good there, made a grip of money, and then gets plugged in with this other big ass car dealership, and they want to make him the finance manager, hibbity hooblah. So now he's making a gang of money. He's bought nice cars for us all. Life is good. So what do junkies do when life is too good? Start using again.
Right. Always.
So I had been being a typical punk motherfucker through all this, you know, like I got caught drunk, spray painting on the skate park and just stupid shit. I was on probation, and then
Typical young hoodlum shit.
once mom starts using again, she's constantly calling my probation officer, telling him that I'm stealing her meds because she's eating them and forgetting.
Yeah.
And so she can get a refill, she has to have a police report. And so
Yeah.
she just
I
kept
remember those days.
she just kept getting me locked up over and over and over because she was eating her Xanax and forgetting. And again, I just didn't give a fuck. I just did my time and got out. And then
Damn.
She ends up going to rehab to get clean off the Xannies, and she's detoxing, and ends up calling Troy one night after having a nightmare and telling him she wishes he would kill himself and that she hates him, and hanging up on him. And he was still using at this point. And benzos, I don't know if you know about benzos, dog, but I'm pretty sure you do. They make you suicidal as fuck. It's crazy.
When you're on them.
Yeah.
I've definitely used them plenty of times, but it was never
No,
my
it's
go-to.
like it's not like if you're just eating them here and there, you're just stupid and you act like an idiot on them. But when you are addicted to them and you're eating them regularly, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But anyways, she calls him, says that she wishes he was dead and would kill himself, and that she hates him. And so
Damn.
he hangs the phone up and obliges. And
Hello.
hi, Winnie.
Hello.
Hi, babies.
You want to be interviewed too? You sweet girl.
How are you? What's your name? Where are you from? So
So
he
so she calls him, and he literally, like, she must have said some really hurtful shit. I mean, mixed, obviously, like you said, mixed with the benzos, but she must have laid into him to
Yeah.
make him feel that low.
Yeah. So he she tore him up, and so he proceeded to eat a bottle of Xanax and then went and got in his truck. He was driving like a brand new Ford Lightning from his dealership out in Twin Falls. There, back in the day, there was this highway that went to Jackpot, Nevada, and it was just this road that went. It was like 65 miles an hour, single lane road, and then it literally came to a 90-degree turn, down to 5 miles an hour to a 90, and then
I
turned to
hate
left.
those fucking exits that do that.
It was wild, and
Off the freeway, it was like
he apparently,
80-20.
dog, it's wild. Like, I know of a couple in Seattle that are ruthless. Yeah, it was apparently doing like 120 miles an hour and didn't slow down, went through it.
Jesus.
And yeah, so they proceeded to come and get me and wake me up 3 o'clock in the morning and bring me to the morgue to identify his body, which was fucked up. His body was fucked up. It was mangled. It
Why
was
did they
mangled
make
as
you
fuck.
do it?
So we were like, there was no other family, and it was me, my mom, and him in Idaho. His two real kids were still in Massachusetts. You know, his parents, one of his parents lived in Washington and California, but they should have had my mom come out of rehab and do it.
Right. Exactly.
They should have had my mom come out. They bring me, have me identify him, and then have me go to the treatment center and inform my mom, and then have me call his mom and call his dad and call his kids. I kind of went off the rails at that point. I started fucking with all the norteños out on the migrant farms,
Oh, okay.
and then
Yeah, I ran into that a fair amount in Ellensburg too.
yeah, out in Ellensburg,
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Yakima.
yep, Yakima, all
Yeah.
the orchards and
Yeah.
all the farming out there. With that comes a lot of
Yep.
the Mexican mafia's heavy in Yakima and Seattle as well, but
Yep.
Yakima is like a staple for them.
Big time. I started fucking with the norteños and the migrants and the migrant farms and the paisas and
The kids probably of the
the
farmers and stuff.
kids of the farmers. Yeah. And then I really started getting down after he killed himself, partying all the time, fucking school off. And then they seen I was a rider and I was with the shit, and so they put me on slanging holly meth. It was peanut butter dope, old school probe dope, nasty, just ooh. I was doing that and just going whole ham. And then
Yeah, see, that's another aspect of the drug world I was never part of. I never fucked with meth, really. I've done it like twice.
this
but
was that
never,
old school shit. This was before they had the clear shards.
right, biker crank
Yeah,
type stuff.
yeah, biker crank, exactly. Are going hard with that shit. I end up bringing some to school to sell to a kid. One day this kid from school hits me up. He wants some. He wanted a teener. And so I brought it to school. I was in a portable. I think we were reading. I don't remember what class, probably language arts or some shit. But everybody was reading, and I look up and I can see out the window, and I can see that there's 3 police and the principal walking across the field to the portable. And I knew, as soon as I seen them motherfuckers, I was like, oh shit, they're coming for me. And sure shit, they come in the classroom, Mr. Daly, can you stand up? They cuff me up, take me down, go to my locker, open my locker up. Do you have anything in here we should know about? I'm like, yeah, I got some dope in my backpack.
Damn.
And
got
yeah,
your ass.
booked. And so they take me to juvie, Snake River Juvenile Detention Center. I'm like, you know, I knew I was fucked, but I didn't realize how fucked. My mom doesn't show up. My mom's like, fuck this guy. And she ends up moving from Twin Falls to Tacoma, Washington
While you're locked up.
I'm locked up. And so when I get to court, the judge immediately is just like, so Mr. Daly, you apparently don't have anybody that gives a fuck about you. We do. We're gonna make you a ward of the state. And in Idaho, that means till you're 21 at St. Anthony's.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Till you're 21?
Yep.
Wow.
And my fucking heart sank like you couldn't imagine. I had just gotten juvenile life.
Yeah.
That's juvenile life. When you're fucking sentenced to juvenile life, you go till you're 21.
Yeah, it's the end of your youth. When you get out, you're an adult.
Officially.
Yep.
Officially.
And there's no getting out of it. You serve every bit of it, right?
No. So I was blessed again. I was 14 when that happened. At some point before this had happened, I had gotten a smoking ticket. My homegirl. I was with my buddy KJ and his sister Malia. It was her graduation. I was standing outside smoking. The police rolled up and
Gosh, so minor.
they give me a ticket, a smoking ticket. And so I'm sitting in the juvenile penitentiary like, fuck my life, I'm in here forever. I'm 17 now. Mm-hmm. It's been 3 years. And one day they call me, Daly, you got court. I'm like, the fuck? And I'm like, what for? They're like, smoking ticket. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit. And I'm like, oh, dope, you know, they're gonna take me outside and give me a gallon jug and make me pick up cigarette butts until the jug is full. And I'll be able to fucking sneak a bunch of ciggy butts back in. And so they take me to court, and my mom's best friend, her dad owned the car dealership that my stepdad worked at. She was sitting there, and when I come into the courtroom, she looks right at me and she starts mouthing, I'm here for you. And I'm just like, what? And this lady, like, her family in Idaho is like a factor, you know?
Yeah.
And as soon as they called my name, she stood up and she's like, Your Honor, my name is Brent. Lisa, this is my best friend. This is her son. I'm here to collect him. And the judge just was like, okay. And I'm like, no fucking way. What just happened? And they're just like, yo, do you even want to go back and get your stuff? And I'm just like, no. Yeah. Get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And they took me right to her, and she had brought clothes for me because I'd grown hella.
Yeah.
You know, the clothes I wore in didn't fit me no more. And she was waiting there and brought me a fucking carton of smokes and a change of clothes and a bus ticket from Twin Falls to Tacoma, Washington, and took me to the Greyhound station. And I'll never forget the fucking feeling, the smile.
Good luck, kid.
Yep, pretty much. Here's some smokes. Have a good one. So yeah, I jumped my goofy ass on that bus and smashed up here to Tacoma. And immediately got into some shit. My boss, I got a job doing flooring.
And how old are you at this time?
17.
17. Okay. So this is around the time I'm starting to see you
Yeah,
again.
yeah, because as soon as I got back, I started coming back to the valley.
Okay. Yeah.
I immediately
Because
started
that's
coming back
I was
to
gonna say
kicking.
that's about the age of that, and then obviously after into your early 20s is when we lived together
Yeah.
and all that. Okay, so you're 17. You're back in that
So I'm
on the west
out
side,
now.
Washington.
Yeah, I'm out now. I'm in Tacoma, and I get a pretty good job doing flooring, get an apprenticeship, and then come to find out my boss, he's a meth cook. This old boy from the feds. And I was young, so
Oh
he
well,
was,
what do you know? I'm a meth dealer.
yeah. And so he immediately, we get to chopping it up, and he's like, yep, let me put you on. And so, yes. And he starts just giving me ridiculous amounts of meth to sell. I get strung out real good.
You front it to you at first.
Yeah.
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 It's always the way.
It's always the way. You get, yeah, like front me a quarter ounce of that shit, and I'll turn around and I'll flip it. I'll be back for a half.
That's how I got in the game.
Yeah.
Fronted me an ounce of dope
And
never
I'll be
looked
back
back.
for two.
Yep.
Yep.
Never looked back.
Yep. And that's all I need. Just a little foot in the door. It's so hard to not fall back on that when I'm hungry as fuck.
Yeah, it's really hard not to just jump back into that old Josh, that old mindset of just trying to hit a lick or
Yeah.
getting into hustling again to some degree.
Yeah.
And I've looked at, possibly doing what I used to do and selling legal guns and things like that again. So that's a thing I want to convey with this as well is there's still things in that
Realm.
realm of
Yeah.
your interest that you used to do. Like when
There's
my
ways
wife
to
met
do
me,
it.
when my wife met me, I was slinging pounds and selling mainly all legal guns. I would, still sell some stolen shit here and there, but
Yeah.
I was making insane money off just buying and reselling used guns on a website back in the day called Seattle Guns. You just search it regularly and find ones that people post cheap, buy them and resell them for, a few $100s more.
Yeah.
So there's things within the legal market, and that still exists today, that old, career criminals can get into and feel comfortable in. So I always want to encourage people, like, you used to be a weed dealer, get into the weed game. Like there's
You can get into the medical distribution, fucking go to a legal state, get into legal distribution. I mean, be a bud tender.
right.
If that's what you love, you can get paid for it now legally.
It's definitely a grind, a lot harder than the illegal way. So yeah, that's why what I struggle with is not just resorting back to that old Josh.
Yeah, it's
So
hard to not.
okay, so you're hustling.
And then I was still on probation out of Idaho, and they had reached out to the police up here they had reached out to the police in
Tacoma.
Washington, and had them come and get me and bring me in for a UA. And of course, I pissed hot.
Right.
And
Burnt the cup.
oh man, yeah, bottom of that joint fell out. And so they told me, they were like, we're going to either revoke your probation and bring you back down here, or you need to do inpatient for a year. And I'm just like, well, gee, let me think. Go to Idaho penitentiary until I'm 21, or go spend a year of inpatient rehab. So I'm like, fucking inpatient. And they send me to this place called Ryther Child Center in Lake City in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, I did 6 months. And then from there, I went to John King Recovery House, which like I was doing really good at. And right at the very end, I had earned a weekend pass.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of homies from the valley came and got me. And we went out and we were partying out at Browns Point. We had this big ass driftwood fort, and I ended up Roby frying. I chugged a bunch of Robitussin and
Yeah.
ate some mushrooms, and at some point I must have hit the weed, and when we got back to the fucking treatment center, I was literally about to graduate the next day from my year of inpatient. And yeah, I sure as shit pissed dirty from my one weekend pass. They knew I wasn't trustworthy.
Yeah.
They knew I was gonna use. And so yeah, they kicked me out.
What do they do once you get kicked out?
Well,
Like, what happens to you?
they didn't do shit. They were I was over 18 at this point.
Okay.
Or I was just about to be, no, I was over 18. I had just turned 18. And they kicked me out, and so I come out to go back to live with my mom. And now she's living up in Bellingham on the campus of the Western up there. I think it's Northwestern or whatever the college is up there. She's living in these apartments. I move in with her, and I'm just being pretty much her caretaker at first, but like she is so fucked up from my dad killing himself. Like, she's just a mess. She just cries all day, all night, every day. That's it. She had also, right after I had gotten locked up, she had gotten her right leg amputated. So a lot had changed with her since I had seen her
Okay, sure.
3 years prior.
Yeah.
So I get
Her
out.
health is deteriorating. All those years are
Oh
starting to
man,
catch up to her. Her
But
health is deteriorating.
her Hep C is, she's yellow. She's got no right leg. Her left leg is broken. She had 5 liquefied vertebrae in her back. She had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. She had a whole bunch of shit. She was in pieces. She was in shambles.
Right.
And so I get out,
So you
and
truly are her caretaker when you get out. You kind of went in there at the right time.
yeah, and
So she didn't have anyone at that time?
well, she was letting just random motherfuckers come and live with her to be her caretaker, and they were just stealing her fucking meds or stealing her money and stealing shit. And so when I got out, I'm like, that's about to stop.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody doing my mama like that. But she was in such shambles, like, they're like, yo, she tries to kill herself regularly. I'm like, yeah, not anymore. So come to find out, she proceeds to, like, on a monthly, it seems like weekly basis, try and overdose herself, take a handful of Xanax and drink a fifth of Yukon Jack constantly. Like, I couldn't turn around and leave for an hour without coming home to finding her on her fucking face blue.
Holy shit, dude.
And so it was like,
So that's her existence that you're coming into?
yeah, that's how she lived. Was just in tears and in a constant state of trying to kill herself. So one night I was out, I had a homeboy and a homegirl come out and kick it from out of town. And we were out, I wanted to show them around Bellingham, because what I used to do is I'd just mob out the door and go around and just find house parties every weekend and just mob in and $5, get a cup and start drinking and kick it. And I mean, that's how it was on the campus. And I wanted to show the homies.
We kind of did that same thing in Ellensburg. It was very similar to that.
Yeah, just
you could literally ride around and just roll up to parties.
Yeah, and so I bring the homie and homegirl out, and I had a bunch of shrooms and herb that I was selling, and so I'm like, let's go fucking party. And so we proceed to eat a bunch of shrooms and go out and party. And we're at this house party, and I had brought a little bit of weed and probably another eighth of shrooms with me, just so us three could keep eating.
Yeah.
And so it turns out some people wanted to get some, so I'm like, dope, let me run home. Me and my homeboy and my homegirl, we run home. And when we get there, my mom is outside, stuck in the mud. She had an electric wheelchair. And she's drunk as shit. And there are these college kids that are up on their balcony just laughing at her. They're not helping her get out the mud.
Fuck.
And she's just in fucking shambles, crying and fucking freaking out on these kids. And so I pull her out the mud and get her into the house and start trying to calm her down. As she starts calming down, she starts like begging me to let her go. And so and like with the mushrooms, I could just feel every ounce of her pain. So as I'm like cleaning her up, she's like sitting there like, Shelby, it's time. Like you gotta stop this and let me go. And so I was like, okay. And so I let her do what she wanted to do, and I took her in and put her to bed. And I sat with her for probably an hour and talked to her. She just told me a bunch of shit, and then I said goodnight, and then I went to bed. Yeah, the next morning I woke up, and as soon as I opened her door, I knew she was gone. She had slumped off the bed, but the blanket was just covering her face. And anyways, I called 911. They came, and I told them what happened. I told them exactly what happened.
Right.
And her family, my grandparents, ended up trying to push assisted suicide charges on me and get me put in jail.
When they're not the ones having to deal with the chaos that you're experiencing every single day.
Right. But
of,
knew
yeah.
what she was doing,
Right.
knew what it was like. Like, because by this time she had gotten so bad that they had moved from Massachusetts and bought a house in Birch Bay so they could be close to us.
Okay.
Because well, not close to us, close to her. Because I was locked up and she needed lots of help. So they were moving out this way to try and be closer to help her.
Right.
But so yeah, they were very familiar with what she was going through and what she was trying. And I mean, I don't know, it felt selfish at that point. Like she was literally trying to kill herself.
Right.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And
I'm only keeping her here because I don't want to let her go.
Sure.
And like at that point when she caught me on mushrooms, like I could feel it, and the way she talked to me, it
Penetrated further than it had before.
Yeah, and I could just feel it. And so I told her I would let her go that time. And I'm like,
So what does that do to you at that age when you have to go through something like that?
I mean,
How does that affect you and ripple into your life going forward?
I mean, it fucked me up big time for a lot of years. There was a lot of years it ate at me, because I mean, I've been outcast from my family because of it.
Right.
Everybody knew.
Because they also wanted to selfishly keep her there.
But none of them wanted to be around her.
Right.
None of them wanted to be there to help her.
Sure.
But they all wanted her to be alive.
Right. Yeah.
And she didn't want to be alive anymore. She was like the woman's body. Like, and after I had seen all the doctor shit and heard, it's just like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you poor woman. And it's like, yeah, if you want to go, who am I to stop you, you know?
Right.
And
that doesn't lessen the feelings that you get. Like I said, the ripple effect that has in your life going forward, still having to reconcile that in your own mind, knowing that, but it doesn't lessen the blow to you. So what did that kind of catapult you in? Was that kind of like
it was
the truly another defining moment of like, I am on this path no matter what now?
It was a major catalyst to just a savage road.
Right.
A savage fucking road.
Is it almost, because I've looked back at mine and other people around me, and in some ways it's almost like a slow suicide. Is I'm so reckless and I care so little about myself that I'm not going to kill myself. I've never
But I'm
thought
trying
about
to actively die.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm so reckless and don't care about myself so much that, that's the only way I can look back at it and try to reconcile that is just almost like a slow form of suicide, of just not giving a fuck what happens to you.
Well, it was at that point, like, after all the shit I'd experienced as a kid, and then for it to start peaking now with this, like, I'd finally gotten a good man in my life. Was dope. Like, he had taught me how to build engines and how to work on trucks and cars, and like, while the little time we had in Idaho, he taught me some real manly shit. Taught me
Right.
the little shit men needed to know.
Yeah.
How to shave, how to fucking tie a tie, how to fucking work on cars. And then
So were there some other
with,
people in your life that contributed to kind of forming the man you are today? Because you didn't learn who you are now from nowhere.
no.
You're a good man. You're a good father. I see it. The way you're a good friend.
Well, so
Um,
there were some major people that contributed to that. A big part of it was, so there was a family, the in Maple Valley, that took me in. The dad, he was such an awesome dad. Like, I lived with them for so long, so many times, and I would sit and watch him with his kids, and I mean, he was awesome.
yeah.
And I mean, he taught me how to ride dirt bikes. He taught me a lot of shit. His family, I mean, I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all the love that the have shown me.
Yeah, because I've always wondered that, is like
Yeah.
you have to learn it from somewhere. And I guess some people could learn it from TV or something, but it's like I wondered if there were people throughout your life that had given you an example of what a good man is and
Yeah.
how to, navigate a life beyond being a complete savage. Because I've seen you with your kids, I've seen you with your lady, I've seen, you're my friend, and I see all of those good qualities that some people on the outside don't get a chance to see with us.
Right.
And I'm kind of blown away. You go through so much, and it's like, man, how was he able to carve being that nice and generous of a person when he lived and went through so much?
I
So
mean,
it sounds like there were a few people along the
there
way that
definitely
that
were.
helped
There was
help guide you.
the mom. She was the mom, and his mom, and then his mom. His dad was a ruthless dad, hardcore on us, but he tried.
Right.
But the friend, definitely like a pivotal family in my upbringing.
Okay.
That I just sat and would watch their family as a kid, and I mean, they made me feel like part of it. It wasn't just so much on the outside looking in. Like, they always included me,
Yeah.
and it was definitely life changing. They were a huge reason why I always came back to Maple Valley.
Hmm.
Like, every time I ever left and went out on the road and was out hitchhiking, I called them constantly.
So your mom passes, and you're kind of off and running after that. So where did that kind of steer your life into who you became after she passed? And first of all, I want to say I'm really sorry. No matter what kind of mother she was to you, she was your mom at the end of the day. And I just want to say I'm sorry that you had to go through that, and that you lost her,
Thank you, my
especially in
brother.
the way that you did.
Thank you,
And
man.
I know that couldn't have been easy on you.
No, it wasn't. It definitely took a toll on me, because for a lot of years, I mean, I just had myself convinced that I murdered my mom. I helped murder her, helped participate in allowing her to, I don't know, I just looked at it really fucked up.
Yeah. Understandably, it's a fucked up situation.
I beat the dog shit out of myself over it for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I was in shambles one night. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was sitting at the 76 station right there across from the McDonald's in Maple Valley. I was just crying. I was just sitting on the curb, just fucking bawling. And him rolling up, and he was driving that little red Toyota Celica that used to have. And he was like, dog, get in. I got in and I'm just fucking in shambles. He's like, bro, give me your arm. And I knew he was about to put something in me, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew that it probably would help.
Right.
And man, that first shot of heroin he gave me the tiniest, just a tiny little bit. And it was like all of my pain and problems just instantly disappeared and melted away. Instantly, what popped into my brain was the comfortably numb. Instantly, like all of a sudden, that made sense. Like, I'd always loved that song, that Pink Floyd song, Comfortably Numb, but
Right.
you don't feel while you're on heroin. You don't feel pain, sorrow, sadness, empathy. Like, you don't fucking yawn, you don't sneeze, you don't really poop that much, you don't pee very well. It fucks up
Yeah.
makes your shit go numb, so you can't feel it.
Right.
And you're comfortable with that. But after years and years of it, it just gets old. Not ever getting to feel and smell. That was one of my biggest things I missed, was smelling. I'd wait every morning and let myself wake up dope sick and make sure I went outside and got to smell the fresh air before I'd do a shot.
What kind of things were you involved in when you started getting into the drug life as a adult now?
At this point, pills had already been around for quite a while. Oxycontin and Percocets. And so I was very opiate tolerant, and I had already been into shooting up crank and cocaine. But like, the heroin brought out a different demon, because the sickness is something to be feared. I mean, I looked at myself as a literal demon, that I was put on this earth to deliver bad karma to people, and I would make these excuses for my brain on why I was robbing houses. I was kicking in doors every day. I was having come to his house every day and pick me up in his little yellow Chevy Love and drive me around. And I'd kick in doors and steal flat screens and safes and whatever the fuck they had.
Yeah.
And if anybody was in the house, they're getting duct taped and roped and put in the bathtub. It was horrific to do to people, scare the shit out of them. I'd make them think I was gonna hurt them, but I never was. They didn't know that.
Was there one kind of thing that you did the most of, would you say? Like when I was in the life, I kind of always leaned towards drug dealing, and I started robbing people once I realized, selling drugs was more of a grind and you could just start robbing drug dealers. Did you start going down that same kind of path?
Robbing drug dealers was like a sport. Because, like you said, so especially in like the valley, there were so many corny ass little fuckers that got into slanging dope, and they were doing good because they were like popular in school, and so they got good ass clientele base. But they're not with the shit, and so they'd taken money out your pocket, and so it's like, oh yeah,
Right. Yeah.
and so I'm gonna fucking show up to your house and take everything you got, and like we did. Me and we went and bought badges, and we had pistols and some more shit, but we went and bought badges, and we had the fucking we dressed up like detectives but masked, and cuffed Ryan up in his front yard and ransacked his house and fucking took what dope and money we could find.
How come that took place?
So I had just hit a big old fat lick. It was a little over 25 racks and 10 pounds of herb.
How'd you get onto that one?
My real dad put me up on it. It was his weed man.
Oh, okay.
He lived in Kingston, Washington, right off the ferry boat, man. And yeah, I kicked that door in, and I got the weed, and we were on our way out, but like something called to me, and it was in his kid's room, his little son's room, in the closet up in the top. There was a whole bunch of shoe boxes, but just fucking one shoe box. I don't know what it was. And I reached my finger up there and I hooked the corner of that box and I yoinked it down, and rolls of hundreds and fifties just scattered.
Damn.
it was a fat lick. And so I came back to the valley and I ended up overdosing at Ryan's, celebrating my lick. He robbed me while I was out.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Typical Valley behavior.
And
That's happened to me.
I never knew for a fact, but it was just real mysterious how all of a sudden after I OD'd at his house, he became like politician, no ballaholic. He's ballerific.
Yeah.
He was doing big things in the valley.
He was one of the people who fronted me dope. When I started selling dope, he was one of the people who put me on.
I mean, after it happened, he let me live with him for a couple of years and made sure I had dope every shot he did with me.
Yeah.
But it was like he had some sort of conscience about robbing me. I don't know what it was, but it was cool. He let me live with him for a gang of years.
Yeah. I guess that's probably around the time that we reconnected when we're
Yeah.
both living at the same spot and selling dope together.
No, that was when we reconnected. That was so in the mornings before all you guys would even get up and get moving, I was out the door with him. And that was when when you and I were living at his house out in
Hobart.
Hobart, out on Hobart, Issaquah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was why we were living there early in the mornings, because I'd go right after motherfuckers would go to work. I'd see people leave for work, and I know it's either just the wife home or the kids home or nobody home.
Really was kind of like that. It was like a sport. We would all it was a house of drug dealers and criminals, and we would all wake up in the morning almost and just plot for the day of what we're gonna do. You know, we're all selling dope, weed, coke, pills, whatever you can get your hands on.
You could
whatever
come to that house and get
whoever. If you hear of a lick, you're trying to
get in on it.
Exactly. So just living like that for years on end. Where did that kind of put you? Did you have any health repercussions from that?
Oh, dog. So, yeah, living. So I went really hard as a heroin addict. I went to a Seattle vocational and did cosmetology, but I would sit in on the phlebotomy classes and learn the vascular system. And so I was shooting into my femorals, into my PICC line, and I destroyed myself. I have multiple deep vein thrombosis. I have a bad heart. I had an IVC filter put in my heart in '08 that ended up starting to deteriorate, and I had to have it taken out in 2022. The surgery didn't go so well. I ended up getting a little settlement from that, and that's how we bought the land and bought the truck and the camper.
Where you are now. We're actually out here in Missouri filming, and you own property in Missouri, correct?
Yeah, we bought some land out here. We're not at the land yet. Things kind of got messed up on the way there. We're almost there. Well, the truck that we had bought and kind of started having some serious mechanical issues, and so I had to fix it all, and that ended up costing us all of our savings that we had to use to buy. We were going to buy like a 16 by 24 shed, and then we had enough to buy a bunch of lumber and PVC and wiring and pretty much to just start building.
Yeah.
So yeah, the truck broke down, and so we ended up spending all of our savings, and then my fiance's grandfather out in Oklahoma, he offered to let us come stay on his land while we try and figure something out.
Right.
And as of this moment, we're right on the border of Missouri, but we're on the west side of it, northeast side of Oklahoma. Just kind of posted like thumbtacks, trying to figure out what we're gonna do. So since we've been here,
Got in a wreck.
yeah, some crazy stuff happened. I ended up with a concussion one day, tripping and falling and hitting my head. I guess I woke up from that and decided I needed to go and buy cigarettes, and I got in my truck and I decided to drive off the road doing 55 miles an hour. I don't know. Some of the people that supposedly said I was swerving a deer because they had seen deer. right after the wreck, so they assumed that I swerved a deer, and I went off the road and I hit a couple of trees, broke my back,
Damn.
broke my nose, broke my eye socket, got knocked out real good.
Totaled the truck, I would assume.
Truck is totaled.
So all the money that you put in to get it going again, just
It was a beautiful truck. I put a lot of money into and paid a lot of money for, and I paid for it cash just so I would own it. I didn't want to have payments. I just wanted to own it. But then I had to put a new motor and a new a whole bunch of new stuff, and so yeah.
So how did you decide to get clean? What was the catalyst to that?
Really, it was just my mental health. I had had enough. I had just grown to a point. It was like my 24th birthday. I woke up and I had a conscience all of a sudden. I could feel
Yeah.
all the dirt I had ever done, all the licks I had ever hit. I could feel, and I didn't like how it felt. And from there, things just slowly started changing for
Kind of
me.
like your mom, all those years doing that to your body and in the streets, it takes a toll on you, and it finally caught up to you, it sounds like.
Yeah. And so I started fighting to get right.
What kind of things did you do initially to get better? Because
Yeah.
that's one thing I want to
Yeah,
help with,
absolutely.
help convey to people is our path isn't necessarily the path, but it
But
is a path.
yeah,
And I'm going to tell my story, though it may not be the conventional way that people get sober, or
it
yours
worked for
might
me.
be the
Yeah.
conventional way people got sober. It still brought us to where we are today.
Yeah.
And I would much rather take this Shelby, who's on methadone, who smokes a little weed,
Yeah.
and is a good father and a good, man to his lady, and I'd much rather take that Shelby as opposed to the Shelby I knew back in the day, who,
Yeah.
slinging ounces of dope and would shove a gun in your face if you got out of line. I think I'd much rather take that one.
By all
So,
means. By
like,
all
what
means.
what kind of things did you do initially to get you to at least to the point where you are? And we're ever
Yeah.
changing. That's not to say
Yeah, by
that you won't
absolutely.
change, further. And we never know what life has in store for us,
No.
but
And
how you made it is super valuable.
I believe change is kind of the root to everything. Growth. The only way to grow is to change. But so I had just kind of realized that people were kind of afraid of me. Nobody respected me. People feared me. I didn't like how that felt. I didn't like how people acted around me. I didn't like when I moved, people flinched. And so I literally, this is literally how it went.
Oh yeah, you were always kind to me, but you definitely put me on edge.
But there were some
Yeah.
people that I did really dirty, and as I had people reach out to me and just tell me, that I did foul shit, and it just started kicking in. And so I went to this place called Navos in Seattle. It's actually in Burien, right outside of Seattle. Navos Mental Health, and I put myself into a bunch of like anger management class, healing with art. But I started with 3 classes.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, I had just kind of accepted that opiates were a factor in my world, and I needed methadone.
Right.
I needed to get rid of the daily grind of trying to figure out how I was going to get well every day.
Yeah.
I was never going to be able to become anything for my children if I had to worry about that.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I was just
The
kind of,
same thing I did with Suboxone. I only
yeah.
got off Suboxone 3 years ago.
And
So
see, I'm finally feeling to that point, but I just, I really accepted that, and just, I wanted to change. I had started wanting to have kids again
yeah,
because I had lost my son, my firstborn, and he
two
was
custodies.
to custody. I didn't lose him. He's not dead. I lost custody of my firstborn to his grandparents,
Okay.
and I didn't ever want to go through that again.
Sure.
And so I just wanted to better myself as much as I could. Well, so when her and I first got together, I was going through the battle for my boys with their mom, but it wasn't an uphill battle. It was pretty easy because she was starting to use, And then I went to court for the parenting plan, custody shit, and the judge was like, "Mr. Daly, you had me at hello." Because I wrote this letter and then I attached printouts of all the pictures I had. I had been documenting this broad's house for so long. Yeah, so I gave all that to the judge, and the judge was just like, "Done, they're yours." They've been with me ever since. That was November of 22. That the judge said that. Squishy, we found all that out. That was June of 22.
Damn, man. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, so
I'm just glad they're with you.
these poor fucking kids have been fucked up, and they're old enough to know, like, so it was getting them out of their mothers was definitely life changing for them, because she was just living a lifestyle, doing the most and letting the most happen to my boys.
Yeah.
But so we were living, we had a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Seattle on 10th and Jackson, and like not a place you want kids.
Right.
It's literally like the capital of all the homelessness in Seattle. It's where they all are. They are all there. It's the only place where the jungle is still somewhat exposed. The jungle being underneath I-5.
Yeah.
They
The
had
big
most all
forest.
of it closed off, but there's still sections that they're able to congregate.
Oh yeah, it's been there forever. I remember
Yeah.
doing ride-alongs with my mom when I was like 8 years old, and
Into the
going
jungle.
going by the jungle. Her talking about it,
Oh,
but it goes
dog.
way back.
Oh, it's a bad place, but that's where we lived. And so every day coming out of our house, there was just people smoke in our hallways, people smoking on foil. Security and police wouldn't do nothing. We'd get into the stairwell. I don't know how many overdose people we found in our stairwell in the Tybin apartments down there. And then walking to school, we'd walk to school. They went to Bailey Gatzert Elementary right there on Yesler.
Yeah.
And just walking up just people all the way up the whole sidewalk selling stolen shit and smoking fentanyl or shooting dope. And then right here on the road, parked along in the parking spots next to the fucking sidewalk, are police
Yeah.
watching me and my kids walk by and watching all the dope fiends sell stolen shit and smoke and shoot dope in front of my children and not do shit. And that's,
So it was time to go. So
yeah,
around that time is when you won the lawsuit, it sounds like, and
yep,
you were able to buy the property, get the trailer, get the truck, and get your ass out of there.
yep, that
Which
was
is
exactly what we
good
did.
on you, because I don't know that I would have had the wherewithal in me to do that. Coming from the background I come from, getting that amount of money, like, you truly wanted to change your life. It sounds like you were done.
Well, I mean, yeah, I got 75,000, and it would have, I wish, you know, I wish shit wasn't so expensive
Yeah.
in this day and age. But yeah, I was able to get a badass truck. I I got ripped off on the camper something fierce because I didn't know anything about it and I didn't do much research beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And then our property, yeah, it's just there, but it's completely undeveloped. But it's a start. It's trying to get
Right.
something, and we made the decision to uproot and just go.
Yeah.
We were doing it. We didn't give a shit. We
But
were done playing and dealing with the madness that was Washington.
yeah. But also what comes with that is, all the things that you went through once you got here,
Yeah, it still
and
hasn't
having
stopped
to,
since we got here
yeah,
either.
having to carve that life out that you want
Yeah.
is a lot. There's still barriers that get put in place. And that's the frustrating thing about life is you try so hard to get ahead and you make strides, and
Yeah.
it's like one step forward, two steps back, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
And so what kind of things were you trying to do with the property? If the wreck didn't happen, you didn't break your back, you're not a multiple time felon living in small rural red state. You know, obviously that
Man,
just being a multiple time felon has
it's
its challenges on its own of getting a job, but let
yeah.
alone all those other factors.
Well, yeah, and then just how I look, like I show up to interviews here, and they're just like we've got people that are applying that don't have any of that shit,
Right,
and so we'll just go with them.
right.
But I mean, realistically, all we wanted on the land, all we want, not wanted. This is what we want, and
What you're still trying to accomplish. Yeah,
what we're
what you're going
gonna,
to
yes,
accomplish.
what we are going to have on the land someday is just water and power is the main two things. But like, we want to be able to have a decent chicken coop. And all we want to do is have our camper, of course, but then we want to start with like a 12 by 20 shed that we can
Sure.
just put down and, you know, start building on. You
Yep.
know, put a sink in,
Remodeling that out. Yep.
put a
I've seen
sink in.
people do it 1,000 times.
Yeah,
I've seen
and
people do
then
some amazing things with that.
amazing things. But like realistically, we would love to have solar and be completely off grid because like if the power goes out, like I don't want to know. I just want my little farm to keep running.
Right.
But like, you know, we want to produce microgreens so we can participate in little farmers markets around the community and help get our kids into it and kind of have a little farm
Yeah.
so we
I mean,
can
I already see it. You're doing it now
we're
with
trying,
with
yeah.
where you're able to stay. You know, you're like
Yeah.
you said, you're with family, so it's not yours, and you want something that's yours. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want to try to help by putting out our story is, you know, building something around that. And you've talked about wanting to write a book and
Yeah.
helping me out with stories. We're gonna do some of your stories that you write, and I'll narrate them, or you know, just really building this into something that we
Yeah.
can use for good. When I got my career as a phlebotomist, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was hustling and I was making really good money. I wasn't using, but when I met my wife, she just honestly finally felt worth it. There was finally someone
Yeah.
that came into my life that challenged me
Yes.
and pushed me to do better and to think past tomorrow. And really, you're going to be a drug dealer forever?
Right.
Okay. And kind of made me look at that life as being silly. And I left that for a minimum wage job. And one day she's just, you were good with a needle. You use needles, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you use your powers for good? Why don't you
Yep.
sign up for a phlebotomy class and do that? Start there. And eventually I became an x-ray tech and worked my way up and ended up working for one company for 10 years, moved to South Carolina, worked for another one for years. And so there's ways you can use your past for good, and I think that's one big goal of mine with this is to do that and really bring you into the fold and work together on more projects and telling more of your story because this is just touching on the surface.
Yeah.
But through that, I also want to leave it open for people to help you out and, you know, have information on there if they feel it in their heart to help donate anything to get you guys closer to your dream. I want to make sure that's down below for people to be able to do. But me, myself, I want to also help you accomplish that as best I can, you know, whatever it takes, going out there and clearing brush. And, you know, like I said, we've talked about it
Yeah.
for hours on end, but I really like what you're doing, man. There's parts of me that really envy you because you're still at a stage where the sky is the limit, and I know that you have it in you. You're a talented, thoughtful, kind, you know, person, and
Thank you, Doc.
I want to show that to people, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, this is an awesome experience, and I'm hyped to do more. It's gonna be awesome.
This is just
Yeah,
the beginning, brother.
yeah, it's gonna be dope.
But I think that's a perfect place to end it.
Yeah, fucking A.
Again, so grateful that you were willing and gracious enough to sit down with me and do this again for
Oh,
the
for
second
sure,
time.
Doc.
And I know it's a bit of a pain having to feel a little inauthentic having to say it again and again, but with what we're trying to accomplish, that's exactly what we're going to have to do.
Yeah,
We're going
yeah,
to tell
yeah.
our story, and that's one goal of mine is not just to write a book myself,
Yeah.
but also to do public speaking,
Yes.
or maybe set up, you know, a Patreon so I can do calls or different trying different tactics to
Yes.
really help people and shine light on some of these issues that go unsaid.
Heck yes. It's exactly it. I got no problem telling my story, man. I know some people need to hear it.
Yeah. I think a lot of
Sometimes,
people need to hear it, even if it's hard to hear,
yeah,
right?
that's more the important crowd
Including
too.
some of my family's come and told me that it's hard to hear, but it does help them understand me a little bit better.
Yeah,
So I feel like that can only help in the long run. It's not who I am now,
by no means.
you know?
Yeah,
So
it gets old being judged as the old version of us. It's not it no more.
yeah. But I love you, brother.
I love you too, dog. Thank you for having me, my
Yeah.
brother. Hell yes.
We're gonna keep doing this, but it's hot as a motherfucker, and I'm about to jump in this beautiful water right here.
Hell yeah.
Let's get it.